Oh, we are live! How are we, lads? Come on, the footy! The footy's back! Guys, subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! The Cowboys win it! Woo! Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to another live stream for your Friday night. What are we? November 4th, 2022, 9:54 p.m. Here in New South Wales. It's good to be back. It's good to have a few people in the live chat. We're here for a beautiful Q&A. Nothing else to do. Pretty boring Friday night. Haven't done a whole lot. Didn't go out tonight. It's pretty quiet. So thought I'd come on here for a little while and do a bit of a Q&A for you guys. So if you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the live chat and I'll try and get to them as best as I can. But we've got 15 people watching the stream. Hello to everyone that's tuned in. Hello to the chat. Let's Go Bulldogs is here. Josh Rabbitoh is 2022. Cody Games PlayStation. Sorry. TJC Sports is here. We've got SS Storm Fan. We've got Electrical Dust. We've got Chelsea in the chat. How you going, Chelsea? We've got, oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, the King is in the chat. And he says in the live chat, I'm currently on a bus to Brisbane watching this. Everyone show love to the bear. He's a role model to all of us. Show him respect and donate to the channel sincerely. Sincerely from the King. Let's go, baby. Well, shout out to the King and everyone in the chat. Make sure you all show the King respect. It's time to bow down to the King. Hello to Jope. Hello to everyone in the chat. Nighthawk Gaming. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. We are currently at 2,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 3K, so let's try and get there by the end of next year. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, it obviously doesn't cost anything, so just hit the subscribe button and share it around. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so. You can use Super Chat in the live chat there. You've got PayPal available, and there's also Pay ID, which is the email Nickford668@gmail.com. So there's 3 ways to donate. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so. And it just supports the channel and all that. So if you want to donate, feel free to do so. But, righto. Questions, fellas. If you've got some questions for me, feel free to throw them in. I'll probably be on here for about 20 to 25 minutes tonight. So let's see what you guys have got for questions. So let's see what we've got here. And we're going to start off with Electrical Duster's question. And he asked, thoughts on Johnny Bateman possibly joining an NRL team? I think it was you, Electrical Dust, that said to me on the comments there on my recent video, Bateman's going to sign with the West Tigers, and that is being reported quite heavily. It could be fake news, which wouldn't surprise me, but if John Bateman was to come back to the NRL and join the West Tigers, that would be an excellent signing for them. They have already got Isaiah Papali'i going there. They've already got Api Coruscant going there. They can pick up another strike back row with experience like John Bateman. It will definitely improve the Tigers a little bit. I still reckon they're a shit team and they'll be bottom 4 next year, but it can only make them better. I mean, they can't get any worse. They just want the wooden spoon. So I think it'd be great. And the way John Bateman and that whole thing at Canberra fell out wasn't pretty. The media were very critical on John Bateman. I thought that was quite harsh and a bit pathetic. But Bateman back to the NRL, if it happens, why not? Why the hell not? Another question from Electrical Dust. He says, thoughts on the Australia lineup versus Lebanon. two utilities and the decision of starting DC and Hunt. So Nathan Cleary will start halfback, from what I understand, tomorrow morning. Two utilities on the bench is a bit weird as well. I think Ben Hunt was extremely hard done by. Yeah, I think Australia fucked up. I think I can't see Australia winning the World Cup if they keep changing the team. The game against New Zealand next week, if Australia and New Zealand both win this weekend, will be very interesting. But I don't like how they keep changing the team every week. Stop changing the team. Pick a 17 and stick with it and get combinations to gel. Because you don't want miscommunications against New Zealand and England and Tonga and all these sort of sides. So hopefully they just stick with the team. Faraz Alam, Broncos key man in 2023 and why? Well, it's an obvious one, isn't it? It's Adam Reynolds, clearly. If Adam Reynolds isn't there, the Broncos will probably struggle now. They've got a bit of a different sort of spine now. They're getting Wishart to the Broncos. Reece Walsh is coming in. They've let go of Tyson Gamble. Albert Kelly's not going to be there for backup. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go if they get a few injuries in the halves and whatnot. But I think Adam Reynolds is obviously the key man for them. And Adam Reynolds is going to have to play at least 17 games for them to be a top 8 contender for mine. I know last year they were in the top 8 and they were 4th with, 6 rounds to go and they fell off a cliff. But teams around them are going to improve as well. So they're going to have to be at their best. And I think Adam Reynolds is the main man for them. He is the key. He is the Broncos, probably the most important player now, along with Paddy Carrigan, obviously. But they're the two, Reynolds and Carrigan. They can win without Payne Haas. But without Carrigan, when he got suspended for the hip drop against the Tigers, the Broncos did not win another game. So Reynolds and Carrigan, for me, are the Broncos' key men for next season. Thoughts on the Tigers not offering Hastings a contract past next year? They are, seriously, the West Tigers are probably the dumbest cunts in the NRL. You buy Hastings from England, you go over to the UK, you pick him up, you buy him as a halfback, you bring him over. He had that incredible moment against the Eels on Easter Monday. Yes, the Tigers didn't win a lot of games with him at halfback, but the Tigers themselves were just dog shit. The fact that they're not offering him another contract past next year, I think it is deplorable. It is sad. And it just shows where the Tigers are at the moment. They are an embarrassment. And don't play him at lock. Seriously. Put Hastings at halfback. Dewey at 5'8". I guarantee you they'll finish a lot higher than last if they do that. Thoughts on Wade Graham re-signing for the Sharks? Well, Paddy G gave me the news, so shout out to Paddy G. I had no idea about it until he posted it on Instagram this afternoon. I thought Father Time was catching up to Wade Graham. I thought, okay, he'd probably retire. I'm not surprised that he's going another year, but I think 2023 has to be Wade Graham's last year. The game has sped up past him. The game's got quicker. The injuries of Wade Graham are catching up to him. I think Father Time's calling. If I was Wade Graham, I would have retired now because you've got guys like Britt Nakora, Teague Wilton, all these sort of players coming through the Sharks system in the back row. You don't want to get in the way of them. Have a look at what Josh Jackson just did for the Bulldogs. He just retired because of salary cap pressure, and he sacrificed a lot for the Dogs. Wade Graham could have done the same, but he's going to go another year. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but I'm not surprised by the news. Faraz says, are the Titans still a bottom 4 side next year? I think they'll improve, but not a lot. They are definitely a bottom 4 team next year. They bought Foran. They bought Verrills. Big deal. Kieran Foran will not last 6 rounds next year. If Kieran Foran is still fit by round 6 next year, I'll be shocked. Sam Verrills, not a bad little hooker, but going to a really, really shit team. You go from a good team to a shit team. It's going to be interesting to see how he stands out. But for me, the Titans next year, I think they'll win the Wooden Spoon. I think the Gold Coast are my pick for the Wooden Spoon right now. They're horrible. Their spine sucks. Brimson's overrated. Sexton sucks. Tanner Boyd's inconsistent. Jaden Campbell can't get a run. Verrills not proven at a consistent level in the NRL. Foran's injury prone. Fafita's fucked. Both Femels, their only hope. They are in for a long year next year. Isaac Lee's gone backwards. Tino and both Femel are probably their only two players that actually have a go real week. They're in for a horrible year next year, and that back line absolutely stinks. Right. Thoughts on Nathan Cleary being Australia's halfback against Lebanon? I don't mind it, but I think Cherry Evans is the man. I was listening to Paddy G the other day, and look, I don't want to sound like I'm kissing Paddy G's ass because he's a Manly supporter and whatnot, but here's the thing. Paddy G made a good point. Nathan Cleary has never won a State of Origin decider. That is a fact. Daly Cherry Evans has won a couple of State of Origin deciders. If the game's 18-all and you want a field goal to win the game, Cherry Evans is your man. Cleary is not your man. Nathan Cleary is your man throughout the game, kicking game, defending, all that. When the game is on the line, Cherry Evans does not miss field goals. It just doesn't happen. If he does, it's pretty fucking rare. When there's a clutch moment, I'm going to DCA instead of Nathan Cleary. I'm sorry. People are going to say, oh, how dare you criticize Nathan Cleary? It's the fucking truth. Nathan Cleary at Origin level is an absolute joke. He is nowhere near the player he is at Penrith compared to... At Penrith, Cleary's at 10 out of 10 most weeks. At Origin, he's about a 7, maybe a 6. I said it back in the Origin free review where Nathan Cleary cost New South Wales the Origin series. Nathan Cleary is the modern-day Origin Mitchell Pearce. Just fails in Origin. Can't get it done. People are going to say, oh, but he's won Origins before. Yeah, because James Maloney was carrying the side. I wonder why. Nathan Cleary can't handle Origin. The reason why he's so good at Penrith is because look at the team he's got. He's playing on a superstar team. Bunch of fucking all-star players on that team. What do you expect? Thoughts on Papua New Guinea chances against England? They are no chance. They will not be beating England. I will be shocked if they do. Thoughts on an NRL game in the US? I don't mind the idea, but it's just a matter of how you're going to do it. Can you do it in the regular season? You probably could, but it's gotta be the right time. And you got to remember, you don't want to do it in the middle of the NFL season, in the middle of the in the middle of the baseball and the NBA season. So you got to get the timing right as well. And it's difficult. It really is. I think they should do it during the preseason. Don't do it. I think a preseason game first, then an NRL game would be the way to go. But I am not against the idea. I think it's good for the game to go to America and promote it and showcase rugby league. I think it'd be great for the game. Question here from Chelsea. Does Benji Marshall still play NRL? No, he retired a couple of years ago, but he's going to be the Tigers head coach in a couple of years. He's the assistant coach now, but he'll be the Tigers head coach in like 2 years. So good on Benji. Weapon of a player. Thoughts on Michael Morgan announcing a return to coaching in rugby league? Yeah, I did hear about this the other day. I think Morgan will be a good coach as an assistant or whatever it was he was doing. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. Michael Morgan, one of my favourite players of all time, to be honest. Josh Rabbitohs 2022. Who do you see as the Bulldogs captain next season? I think Matt Burton would be the man. Matt Burton. Or Matt Burton and Reid Marnie as co-captains. I don't think Addo Carr can be captain. Wingers can't be captains, man. I mean, Luke Burt did it for a long time at Parramatta, but I think it's got to be Burton and Marnie, just co-captains. That would be the way to go. Electrical Dust. There could be a St. George Dragons versus St. Helens match being planned. Well, St. Helens versus Penrith is pretty much locked in. That will be happening because the Super League draw came out the other day, and St. Helens' round 1 game's already been postponed because of the World Club Challenge. So St. Helens versus Penrith's a lock. If they play the Dragons, that'd be interesting. Saints versus Saints. My dad would have a tough time working out who the fuck to go for because he goes for both. So why not? Saints versus Saints. Why the hell not? Thoughts on Ruben Garrick re-signing with the Manly Seagulls? I think it's a good thing. I'm glad he didn't go to Newcastle. Newcastle can't work anything out at the moment. They want to put Ponga at 5'8". They want to put Kurt Mann at fullback. I think Ruben Garrick's looking at it from this way, goes, righto, stay at Manly or go to Newcastle. Just stay at Manly. I know Manly have had a few issues in the off-season so far, but just stay at Manly. You get Tom back. You play with Cherry Evans. You're playing with all these great players. Ola Kawatu. Newcastle probably a couple more years away from being a good team again. So I think Ruben Garrick made a smart decision there. Very smart decision. Right. Cody's secret admirer. If there were a game in the US, it would require both teams to have a bye the next week. Yeah, that's the hard part about it. Or you'd have to postpone one of the matches and play it later in the year on like a Tuesday night or a Monday night and have a short turnaround, which I think clubs can do because we've seen, during the pandemic and the lockdown, those games being postponed and teams were able to adapt to it. So if they scheduled a game in America, say it was on a Sunday, the NRL teams could play on the Friday. So they could play on the Friday and then back up. So they could play the game in America on the Friday and then come back to Australia and play on the Tuesday and then back up again and play Saturday or something. So, I mean, they could have a bye and then whatever, but it's definitely doable too. Like they could do it. All right. Let's have a look here. Let's go Bulldogs. Who do you think has been the best talent this year in the World Cup? I think young talent. I think Dominic Young. I think that young guy from Scotland on the wing there. I think his name's Lachlan Wormsley, that winger. I think he was a really good talent for him. The fullback for Papua New Guinea, he's been very good for him as well. I can't remember. I think it's Taruva or Fiji. I can't remember. It might have been the Fijian fullback, Taruva. So, look, I think there's definitely been a lot of great talent going around in the World Cup. Alex Jones, where's the World Cup challenge at next year? It's going to be at Penrith Stadium, from what I understand, in February. Penrith versus St. Helens, from what I understand. It should be at ANZ Stadium, or it should be at Allianz or CommBank. It should not be at Penrith Stadium. Should be at a big stadium for a big game like this. Allianz Stadium would be perfect. What club will get David Fifita? Rabbitohs, Titans, Raiders, or Dragons? Yeah, I've heard this. So from what I understand, David Fifita's missus is going to be playing for Canberra in the NRLW. So that was linked to happen with David Fifita going to Canberra. Titans want to re-sign him for less money, which is probably a good thing for less money, but get the fuck away from the Gold Coast of David Fifita. Souths doesn't make a lot of sense, but in saying that, Jai Arrow as a back rower is not bad, but I think it's more of a prop for Jai Arrow, so that could use another edge forward there. And the Dragons doesn't make much sense either because I've got Jaden Sewell there, and I've got some Jack Bird playing in the back row as well, so it doesn't really make much sense to me. So I think Fifita will stay at the Gold Coast, but if I'm Fifita, I'm booking a ticket and I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm going to Souths or I'm going to Canberra. I'm getting out of the Gold Coast for sure. Electrical Dust, another question. Thoughts on the Dolphins interested in Dylan Brown? I've got 2 words for that. Fake news. Alex Jones, dark horse signing in the off-season so far. I think Jack Murphy to the Parramatta Eels is such a dark horse pickup that they lose Isaiah Papali'i. People think Murphy's a downgrade, and yeah, at the moment it probably is, but I think Jack Murphy next year could be the buy of the year. Him and Moses as a combination, if that clicks, that could be anything, bro. I reckon Jack Murphy at the moment. What do we got here? Cody's secret admirer. Once again, as a Rays fan, I would like to get Fifita. I think he'd be a decent replacement for Whitehead, who's getting a bit older. Yeah, well, Elliot Whitehead could always go to lock, and Hudson Young and Fafita in the back row there with, someone coming off the bench. So why not? And Adam Elliott has gone to Newcastle, so they could use another forward like Fafita. Canberra should really consider David Fafita. They probably have to pay overs for him, but I reckon it's worth the money. Aussie Mozzie. Have the Cowboys signed anyone yet? I don't think the Cowboys need to sign anybody. We got Tamo coming there for a bit of experience, but we don't really need it. We don't really need anybody. Maybe another big name prop. As you look at it, the back line is excellent. The halves are stable. The forward pack's pretty stable as well. Maybe another big name prop for the bench. Maybe like an impact player. Maybe like a Scott Sorensen or someone like a Zane Tanavano from the Super League. Maybe someone like a Luke Thompson. Someone at that sort of caliber, maybe. We don't need anyone amazing. We just need someone with experience and impact on the bench, maybe, because I think Cohen Hess does a great job, but I feel like we need a bit more. Like, obviously, we've got Cotto, McLean, Tamalolo starting. They are very good themselves. Tamalolo is probably the best forward in the game last year, or this year, I should say, whatever. Ruben Cotter, origin player. McLean found his form, and off the bench there, guys like Cohen Hess and Jermaine Tino-Brown. Like, maybe we need another forward. We've lost Gilbert, but we gained Lukey. Like, Lewis suspended, and we ended up getting Jack Jajeski. So we've got Jajeski and Tamo coming up, which ain't bad, but I think another big name prop would be a good thing. I really do. Who replaces Josh Jackson for the Bulldogs at lock? I think Jackson Tapine will play lock for the Dogs. Faunson Pangai Jr. losing 12 kilos. Good on him. Good on him. Bloody good on him. I reckon that's awesome of him to do that. Faraz. Bold take. Oates was better than Cobbo for me for the Broncos. I can see your point. I'd probably go Cobbo, but Oates was a gun this year. They both were, really. Oh, yeah. This will be good, this question. West Tigers are looking to take a home game against the Warriors in Hamilton. Thoughts? I had a secret conversation with Warriors NRL fanatics about this. I do not like the idea. Taking a home game to New Zealand. Why? How many Tigers fans are going to travel to New Zealand? How many of their members are going to be happy about that? I know what you're going to say. Oh, but the sacrifices the Warriors made, that is, every team should take a home game to New Zealand. No. The game would have continued without the Warriors, with all due respect. Just because they haven't played much at home the last couple of years doesn't give them special rights. Good. I mean, the Tigers can take a game there all they want. Good on them. But if I was an NRL club, I wouldn't be taking a home game to New Zealand, because the members are going to be like, I'm not going to New Zealand. I'm not paying for the flights over there. I'm not doing that. It costs too much money. You gotta take into consideration members, fans, crowd, money, revenue, value. I don't think I think it's a horrible idea. I don't like it when clubs do it. They shouldn't do it. The Bulldogs did it for a while there, and they were crazy to do it. They were crazy. They would always lose. Just crazy. Thoughts on Gallen and Hodges fighting each other again? I didn't mind their last fight until the bullshit stuff happened. I think Gallen will win by knockout, probably in round 3. I don't know how many rounds are going. I'm guessing 5 or 6 rounds, but I reckon Gallen will win in round 3 by knockout. Who do you see the Panthers play in Bathurst next year? I think they should play the Rabbitohs in Bathurst next year. I reckon they'll play the Raiders in Bathurst. I don't know. I just got this feeling they'll play the Raiders there. Righto. Couple more questions, fellas. Aussie Mozzie. Tigers will need all the advantage they can get. Yeah, they will. They will. They need God, the Tigers. They need help. They are a absolute mess. Righto, fellas, that might wrap up the Q&A. I've answered plenty of your questions tonight. Righto. Well, everyone that tuned into tonight's live stream, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I said 20, 25 minutes, so that's what I wanted to do. So I've been on here for a good time. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll be doing another stream tomorrow night. It could be the driving with NFA tomorrow night. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you guys know on Instagram what the plan is. Anyway, have a great night, everyone. Like and subscribe. Share the video around. Share the channel around. Let's try and get the 3K subscribers. Anyway, have a good night. See you guys in the next one.